Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Zee Garcia, what's happening?
And I'm Sam Healey. Hello everyone.
Today we're talking about board games as we always do, and we're going to be talking about games with what we call pasted on themes.
What is that, Tom?
That's when you could take the theme of the game away and no one would notice, I think.
Hashtag Reiner Knizia.
I was going to say, as I was making my list, one designer's name popped up more than any other, and that would be our good friend, the Dr. Reiner Knizia. And really, that is something that he is known for.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So what we're doing here is we're talking about games that I really enjoy, despite the fact that the theme is pasted on them. And as I went through my list of games, it really stood out to me how much I enjoy theme. Because I went down hundreds of games to get a top 10 here. Because there are games that I think have slivers of theme.
Right.
I tried to go with almost no theme. I excluded abstract strategy games. I mean, obviously,
right.
There's no theme in chess or Go or whatever. Even like chess, it's kings fighting king. Okay, whatever. No, it's an abstract game. Mm-hmm. And I also didn't do, for me, and I don't care if you guys did or not, I didn't do trick-taking games because I don't think theme makes any sense. I don't know that a trick-taking game... Oh.
Talking to the card meister over there.
Shut up!
Trick-taking games by nature don't have themes, so that doesn't make sense.
A theme. We'll get to that later.
What else? Those are my caveats. But I do enjoy all the games on this list. I don't think we'll have a lot of crossover. I feel pretty strongly I won't have much crossover with Sam just because I know it's on my list. Yeah. But who knows? Let's find out.
Number 10.
All right. With my list, I went with basic. See, I had a really hard time making my list. Just be honest with you. I had a really hard time because just like Tom, I really enjoy theme a lot, and I found myself waffling on some games, saying, "Man, that has." But it's not very much theme, because I think I read more theme into the game than actually what the game has.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, you buy into it. Once you figure out, well, this is what I got to work with, fine.
Right, yeah. So I had a really hard time making the list. But anyway, my number 10 is Lord of the Rings Confrontation. Lord of the Rings Confrontation. The theme is there. The theme is Lord of the Rings. But it can be whatever you want it to be, as long as there are opposing sides. You can, I mean, special powers, go for it. Whatever you want it to be, it doesn't matter. The theme is absolutely not there. It made my number 10 because it is a pasted on theme game. Normally, I probably shy away from Confrontation, but as far as themeless games go, it made my list.
Did Sam say he normally shies away from Confrontation?
The game.
We're going to take that quote out of context.
You threw me for a loop there. I'm like, wait.
Anyway, my number 10 is Lord of the Rings Confrontation. It's a fun game, stratego, kinda, sorta, with Lord of the Rings thrown into it. It could be whatever you want it to be, but it's still a pretty fun game.
All right. My number 10 is the cooperative game Lord of the Rings by Knizia. No, I'm just kidding. I don't actually like that game that much. My number 10, to me, a theme pasted on a game is if the game is re-released with a completely different theme. Yeah. Multiple times. Yes. And then this is a card game. The version I played the most is Drive, but it was originally Crazy Chicken. There's a new theme. It's the samurai theme.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called. Call to Glory, that's what it's called.
Call to Glory, right. Wow. So they went from chickens to cars to Call to Glory. Essentially, you're collecting sets and trying to have the most in front of you, and when you get more than someone else, you take them out, and there's this whole, you're collecting cars, and whatever. But I do enjoy the game a lot. I think it's best as a two-player game. But it's a very fun one. I forget who designed that one. Michael Schott. Okay, so that's what you said the newest one was? Call to Glory. I think you can probably still find that one. So that's my number 10.
All right. My number 10 is a game I really, really like, but really if you stop and think about this theme, you realize it's completely ridiculous. And the game is Steam Park, in which you are running an amusement park, which is for robots. And when they go on rides, they make a mess, so you need to clean up after them.
Well, humans make messes after they go
They
on rides
do. I don't know why
sometimes.
robots would, but no. Just at that point, they just
Maybe
make
oil
a human
pressure's
theme
too high
park,
or
right? I
something,
mean,
I don't know.
it's almost like a better theme with just humans, but they're like, no. Steam robots. Anyway, Steam Park really could be about anything. It's you're building rides, but since they connect on this board, which is basically a bunch of hexes, a bunch of squares, the theme's pretty pasted on. I really love the game though, and I see right past it. It's only my number 10 because it doesn't bother me at all. I know it's pasted on, but it's also cute and makes for good artwork, so I can take it. So my number 10, Steam Park.
I don't know. I don't think the theme's that pasted on. I mean, like the little booths make sense.
They're powers. I mean, I get that they're little powers, but you put them on this grid and they don't really mean anything. Like, and then they have all these rules about you need to leave space. It's the board.
Yeah, but that actually makes
strategy
thematic
part.
sense. That you don't have the rides right next to each other. There needs to be space for you to walk in between.
Whatever. It's totally pasted
All
on.
right.
It's cute, pasted on.
Number 9.
Who would be the second designer that comes to mind with pasted on theme after Dr. Rainer Knizia?
Oh, I don't know.
Second.
A more modern one. Like this guy is one of the most renowned Euro gamers these days.
Uwe Rosenberg?
No, his games usually have a pretty strong theme. Stefan Feld.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. His games, the theme. So one of his newest games, Bruges, is my number 9. And
Really?
Bruges, has all those cards with all these different cool characters,
Right.
and all this stuff on the board, but none of it means anything. When you use those different characters, it's not like, oh, I'm using the baker. Oh, it means nothing. That
I
theme
gotta
is
say, from his games, this is probably one of the most thematic ones. If you said if you said La Isla, which is a board with tokens,
Okay,
and you
yeah.
put a gap between animals and you collect them if you surround them. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And that's ridiculous.
okay. First of all, the criteria for my list are these are my top 10 games that I enjoy. Anyway.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so I'm not going to pick some of his other games. I don't find any theme in Bruges. I like the game a lot. But what's the theme? Collecting colors, fire comes, and what does that even do? It makes you lose points.
It burns you.
Fire burns.
Yes.
Thanks.
I have yet to play Bruges.
And now you know. All right, so my number 9, Bruges.
All right. Well, I'm probably gonna get hate for this one after I ragged on you, but my number 9 is Vegas Showdown. Vegas
Wait.
Showdown.
You're talking about the Avalon Hill one?
Yeah.
Yes.
That has no theme.
What do you mean has no theme?
You're saying that it's a pasted on theme.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a game in which you are collecting 3 different resources and then building a grid where the corners have to match and you get more points if a room matches another room and there's a little symbol in the corners of the tiles. You need to be able to walk from one end to the other end, and you can build something in the middle while you're building your hotel. You need to build near the entrance because apparently the workers want to come and go through the door that's already there. So there's all these rules in place that make you think, I thought I was just building a casino. And so that's where the disconnect comes in for me. I find it to be, while an amazing game, and I love the game, there's all these little rules that make it feel like they forced you to play that way because otherwise you break the game, but they don't really make any sense.
You ever heard of building codes, bro?
Seriously. Okay, I get the corners. The corners is weird.
Right.
Okay, that's not thematic. But the rest of the game, you're like, why would you want to walk from one end to the other? Are you kidding me?
No. Why do you need to build? Why? I get the whole, you get a bonus for being able to leave. Cool. But you need to build and be able to leave? They're building around a empty lot. Why do you need to build from the door in?
It's not an under construction thing. The thing's already built. You're saying you build a new slots machine in the middle of the empty lot. They have to leave the building, run out to that little room. It makes sense that they have to connect to each other. Come on.
Well, maybe you're thinking that the whole thing is being used while it's being built. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I guess. I mean,
And I think it's really thematic because you have people and you have ways to get money from the people. Whichever one, I don't know. I wouldn't even consider that one.
I don't know. I think there's a couple of things in there that break it for me. Again, not massive. And I should say, I did not have nearly as hard a time coming up with games as these guys.
Well, obviously, since you're not trying hard.
Well, I mean, it's not. I don't have that much of a problem having a disconnect with the theme. I enjoy lots of games that don't have a disconnect with the theme. Boom! I'm gonna have to edit that.
That's gonna really hurt people's ears, Sam.
I'll be sure to quiet that. I
Sam.
didn't have a hard time, but yeah, I find a little bit
I
of a
think you
disconnect.
pick who you're going to pick on each.
No, I'm just.
Well,
Yeah, I think he hates even.
Why is it?
that'll be Z tonight.
Yeah. All right, Sam.
All right, my number 9 is a game that I've only played a couple of times, so maybe I'm not picking up all of the theme, but so far, it's not doing it for me. That's Medieval Academy. Medieval Academy is a game is a fun game about getting points and having the most powerful people in different parts of the board. But why did it have to be a medieval theme? It doesn't. It could be anything. You could be people in an office workers or what have you, vying for. I don't know, like a what's that show that was really popular on TV that I never really got into?
Wow. Yeah.
Survivor, the Office.
Something. Yeah, The Office. Yeah, there you go. You know, it could be
guessing.
some
That
kind of
movie
that.
I saw once back in the 90s.
Well, I don't know. I couldn't think of it. I knew it was Office something, but it was The Office. Yeah, but anyway, or Office Space. That could also work. The movie that was anyway. But anyway, Medieval Academy does not have to have a medieval theme to it, but it is an interesting game with solid mechanics that I enjoyed playing. So it made my number 9.
I actually considered this one. Mm-hmm. So.
I think you did.
Good. I know he loves you today. No, it's a good choice.
Let's keep going.
Number 8.
All right, my number 8 is one of those games with a bunch of cards that have a bunch of powers, and you're supposed to be collecting sets and whatnot. This one, I feel a little bit the way Sam does with Medieval Academy. The game is Guildhall, and Guildhall could have been about anything.
Well, we know this because they've rethemed it
To
a couple
Lord of the
times.
Rings and what have you, and it's still a thief and whatever, but
Legend of the Five Rings.
that's what I meant. Sorry, I said Lord of the Rings.
I don't want people to get excited and like, oh, where is this?
Really? Coming out? No, that would be cool. I would get that one. But again, it could be about anything. It's just text on cards that trigger specific powers, and then not only is it a pasted-on theme, but it's a boring pasted-on theme. At least Steam Park, Vegas Showdown, Medieval Academy even. I mean, some of these games, yeah, they're pasted on, but they're cool. Like, they picked them because they're neat. Guildhall, what? It's so boring. I mean, that's lame. This game, I know for a fact, hits the table less with me because of that lame old theme. So, number 8, Guildhall. I like the game a lot, don't get me wrong, it's my number 8, but man, that theme.
Well, if you did buy the black box version, you have the pirate one.
That's cool.
Yeah, but no, I feel you.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Back on the good side!
I'm not the judge. All right, Sam.
All right. My number 8 is a game that we just recently played on a live show, and that is Colossal Arena. A game that has a very cool theme. I enjoy the theme. I think it's neat. Putting your mind around this idea of titans and warriors and things like that, just fighting and tearing themselves apart in the Colossal Arena. But quite frankly, this could be a game about the stock market, for crying out loud. You're putting your stock in different stocks. You're buying whatever you call them, stocks, right? And these different things, shares. There you go. That's right. You're buying shares in these different stocks, and you're trying to get your stock to be the best. Well, I don't know, but it's a fun game, I guess. But the theme just doesn't have anything to do with any of the mechanics. So, made my number 8.
I mean, there's a slight
Colossal
veneer
Arena.
of theme there.
No, there
Colossal
is.
Arena with the powers and the creatures.
Yeah, that's true. The
It's weak, but things like the Gorgon or whatever freezes you, or maybe I'm getting all that wrong. Anyway,
No, that's fine. No.
the powers and the characters sometimes are slightly in tandem there, but
Well, I mean, it's the angel's power matches the angel's power, and and the Gorgon's power matches what the Gorgon is, and all that kind of stuff. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well,
A little bit, right?
That's just like a thick layer of glue.
I guess, but for me, this one, the theme works in this game because I can get into it. I'm like, the troll's winning, yeah.
That's
And I mean,
one of the problems I have with the list is that I read too much into the theme. Hey, this works. I can get into this, but it's not really the mechanics doing that. That's you doing it in your brain.
if the game allows me to do it, I didn't put it on the list. If the game allowed me to really get into the theme,
Man, I wouldn't have had a list then.
well, you might have. You just might have
No,
to dig
serious.
down
'Cause I
farther.
can get into the Lord of the Rings confrontation.
I feel that way, too.
I can get into.
I get into abstract
medieval
games,
academy
You know what I
thing.
mean? So
Well, not that you're. Okay, fine.
no,
I mean,
like I can find theme and
I
sort
can
of
get into all of these themes, but it's not the mechanic. It's me doing it up here.
right.
Well, you can't get into this one. My number 8, Goa. Just mentioned this one for the top 10 Rio Grande. I do like Goa. It has something to do with spice and collecting spice, and the rest of the game is just this game full of mechanisms. I mean, you're moving around a square in the middle, getting tiles, auctioning them. You can move a certain number of squares, pick a tile at auctions, and that stands for what, essentially? Nothing. You get the little spice bags. When they move up, you get more powers. And what does that mean? Nothing. The spice, really, it's just, there's no theme almost. Spice is just there. I like the game a lot, though, which is why it's on my list, but there's no theme. So, my number 8, Goa.
The spice must flew though.
That would be a cooler theme.
Number 7.
All right, my number 7 is a game which the theme and what's going on does make sense, but the setting doesn't really make sense. The game is called Ice Flow. And this is a game in which you are crossing the Bering Strait, jumping from, I forget which way you're going, but basically going from Alaska to Russia, or Russia to Alaska, I forget which way. And you have a few different characters that are jumping on ice floes as they go by and hop across the Bering Strait. And you, on your turn, can shove the ice floes and put them in your way, and then the dude jumps and runs across it. It's weird, and there's the resources are rope, cool, and fish. And you eat fish or throw it at bears as they go by on the ice floes so that they chase someone else. I don't know, it's a weird this massive setting, and then it's like you're running across a melting plank or something, and so there's this weird disconnect there for me. I like the game a lot.
I'm not sure you're convincing anyone. You just made that sound actually pretty interesting.
The game is cool. No, I like the game a lot. I'm not sure that crossing the Bering Strait is the right theme.
It's like a twisted game of Frogger.
It is, right, but if it was you're running across the road, cool. But you're crossing the Bering Strait? I mean, dude's got a rope and 2 fish. Mm-hmm. And he's running across it.
He's MacGyver.
Yeah, so anyway, again, I really like the game, but the theme setting doesn't quite work for me.
All right. My number 7, I know that this one has a difficult time with theme because I tried to work the theme into something else, and it was confusing, and that's Warlock. I don't think you've played Warlock, either one of you.
No, I don't think so.
Warlock is a game in which you have these cards that you're drafting and buying each turn, and they're different fantasy races, and you're a Warlock who is building a town because of the betterment. No, you're someone who's building a town because there's a Warlock coming. I don't know. You're trying to make a grid of these cards, and as you put them out, you get points based on how they are at the end of the game. Okay. And you can use the cards in different ways, and the cards have different abilities that really most of them don't match the fantasy races. And the whole thing is, it's really entertaining that there's different ways to use the cards.
Okay.
And I enjoy that. You can put them to work, and that kind of makes sense because they provide you with some gold, but the rest of it doesn't really make sense. And I really enjoy the game, but the theme is almost a detriment in this one because it's kind of confusing. Why does a giant need to be there? Why does the troll go here or the goblin? Yeah. Good game, though, if you can find it. That's Warlock.
All right, my number 7 is a game that I've really enjoyed playing a lot. I've got a lot of different people to play it, and that is Ink and Gold. And Ink and Gold It's got a cool. Again, I like the theme, but the theme could be anything. You're an adventurer going into a cave, and you simply have a card that you either say you're going further into the cave, or you say that you're going back to the camp, and it's really just a push your luck mechanism. That's really the core of the entire game. So any kind of theme that would enhance a push your luck mechanic would fit onto this game. I think probably they made a good decision about making it a spelunking game where you're going into a cave and trying to find treasure. I think that was a good decision, but it could be anything. The mechanics don't really help the theme in my estimation. So that's Ink and Gold, my number 7.
This one works for me, the theme.
Yeah, it works for me too, and I think I'm more.
And again,
I'll tell you what it is. I think I'm more forgiving of it because it is such a small game.
No, yeah, and you
know what I mean?
tend to be.
If I can't think of an alternate theme, or the theme doesn't like. See, a lot of problem I have with some of these earlier games is that they're played on grids, and I can kind of see the grid and not see the theme a little bit if I'm not careful.
Right.
Ink and Gold. I don't know what other theme I would put on it. I mean, I think it's pretty perfect. The theme.
I'll tell you later. I'll think about it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, as we're going through, it's like, oh, fire! Oh, troll! Snakes! I don't know. I get into that theme. I really enjoy it. All right.
Zombie theme would absolutely work with that game.
Zombies!
Maybe. What would be the reason to go in farther in, though? What are you
Look for
collecting?
supplies to survive in the apocalypse.
Then why don't when you have some, you get out?
Go back to camp, go back to base, or you keep going deeper to try to find.
No,
come on, man. Glenn could be
no,
a main character.
no.
You're not the judge. Shut up.
I'm pretty sure Alan Moon is like taking notes right now.
Exactly.
No, zombies would be not. No.
That would work.
No, it would
that
not.
would totally work.
All right.
Let us know.
Number 6.
My number 6 is a game that Z introduced me to about farming, and this game is Heartland. Heartland is a great tile placement game where you're trying to build big groups of corn or whatever else on the board. You put tiles down. It is mean and nasty. It's really interesting. It has some cool components, and the theme means absolutely nothing. Has nothing to do with farming. Nowhere in farming am I like, oh, I'm in your field now, Sam. I'm building a fence in. I cut out part of your field. The theme could be completely taken out of this game, and I would imagine in the future we'll see this game somehow with a better theme. I think so, because I think the game is that good. I'm really surprised it was under the radar. I love this game. If Z ever brings it by, I will steal it. But that is Heartland.
Shots fired.
That's a good positive thing.
This is one I probably should have put on my list.
Oh, so you agree here?
Yeah, I do.
That's-
It's totally pasted on. In fact, it makes it a little bit hard to explain. Where you go, yeah, you can just grow tomatoes on top of those carrots and cut that field in two. Like, wait, what? Like, plow through the field with your own vegetable, like a vegetable truck. It's
But isn't it a great game?
no, it's a great game, but you're right, and it absolutely should be on my list.
I thought it was. I thought I would cross over with you there. All right.
All right, my number 6 is a game in which you are making the best sword possible for the king, and that is a game called Toledo. And as I was thinking about,
You're like the Toledo defender of the world.
I know, and I like the game, and it's a game that I seriously do find enjoyable, and I do actually really enjoy the theme. But at the same time, you could be making anything for the king, or you could be making, I don't know, putting together a bouquet of flowers for the wedding that's on top of the hill.
Would you play that game?
No, I would not. Well, I'd play it once.
Get a pink
probably.
rose? Over here, get a
Yes.
purple?
I mean, you could. I mean, it's really you're just gathering resources to make the best whatever to deliver to whomever you would like it to be, and it's happens to be swords, cool. Delivering to the king, also cool. But it could be anything. But it's a really fun game, and if you have the chance to pick it up, I picked up my copy at Origins, I think, at Mayfair's.
Oh, yeah, Mayfair's selling this for a
Mayfair
song.
was selling it for like $5. I was like, cha-ching. Because I'd always been wanting to pick up a copy, and I just could never find it. Found it. I guess they were selling their backstock or whatever. But that's Toledo, my number 6.
Cool. All right. My number 6 is a trick-taking game. Here's a great theme, okay? Indians. Or Native Americans, I guess I should say.
There we go. That's better.
In canoes, racing around this canyon and trying to avoid these rapids and be the first to the winning line or whatever. The game's called Canyon. And it's a trick-taking game in which you have a token with a canoe, you have cards, you play tricks, and then you make a bid as to how many tricks you're going to get. And then if you make your bid, you move your canoe down the river as far as the number of tricks lets you move. And if you're off, then you don't move, or you move less. Or it's a trick-taking game with this completely not pasted on theme, pasted on board with great artwork, cool components, but it has nothing to do with Native Americans, with racing, with canoes, with rapids, with nothing. It's a trick-taking game, the bidding kind. You bid, I could win 4 out of these. And then you play. If you get 4, look at your guy go! Look at him go! It makes no sense. I like my trick-taking games a lot, and I will bring this out just because I do like it. And I think it's an easier sell to someone who might otherwise look at a deck of cards and go, whatever. Because the board looks cool. But, man, like a massive, chasm between these two things. So my number 6, Canyon. I guess I could have said massive canyon between.
But what trick-taking game has a good theme?
The ones that are not themed?
Okay, but I mean, most of them have some sort of theme these days.
Yeah, I mean, there's like Bargain Hunter is a little bit better, where you're collecting
The
junk
only
from
one I
other
can think
people.
of is the bottle.
The Bottle Imp.
Imp bottle.
Yeah, the bottle imp. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's the only one I can think of. Most of them have just a generic or nonsensical theme with them.
Yeah, but I wouldn't jump on them unless they like included a board and all this like amazing racing theme, and you're like, ooh, yeah, racing games.
I think he was disappointed when he played it.
Yeah, maybe.
But that's what the list is all about.
But at the same time, I don't know. I've said before that I don't like card games if I think there could be a board added to it and have it be useful.
Top 10 things that annoy Sam Healey.
Okay.
That's one of them.
So, I mean, that actually sounds kind of neat for me. That would make a trick-taking game and push it to the next level.
But you like trick-taking games.
No, I do. I do enjoy
You
trick-taking
like
games.
it maybe then, yeah.
So-
Again, I like it a lot. The only
Yeah.
reason it's on my list is because the theme makes no sense. But I like the game. It's a little long, but I really like the game. I gotta bring it. I think you'll like it.
I mean, I think it would be cool because, okay, another trick-taking game. All right, fine, whatever. But a trick-taking game where there's a race involved as well, that sounds cooler than just a trick-taking game.
All right.
All right, to the top half of the list.
Number 5.
Hey, would you like to play bingo?
Yeah. No.
Oh, I know what game it is. There's only one game that's bingo.
This
Bingo's
game
bingo.
is
Okay.
Gamers Bingo, and that is called Rise of Augustus. And the theme is just, it's a cool theme. It has the Roman imperial theme to it, and it's got great artwork.
Sounds thematic.
It can be any theme you wanted it to be. It is simply bingo.
100% you're correct here.
That, I mean, there's nothing else.
We can't even argue on this one, not even a little bit. It's
There's
definitely
nothing
bingo.
else to that game. You are playing bingo.
Put your hand in a bag. Shield! Ooh, I got a shield.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So
Have you yet to play this game with anybody who doesn't yell bingo? when
bingo
they
right
get it,
now.
right?
I try not to.
It's supposed to be like Caesar or something. But
yeah. It's supposed
He
to.
discourages it. No, I'm sorry, you can't say bingo.
Yeah, do not say bingo.
Yeah, it breaks that thin
Or else.
veneer. That thin veneer.
Exactly.
theme
Right.
goes.
You gotta get a full spoonful of that theme. Because it's very milky. But I don't know why I like this game. I really shouldn't because I don't.
Because
Try to
bingo
find
is
all the-
fun.
No, it's not. Having numbers shouted out to me and then me putting a little red dot on a piece of paper or on multiple pieces of paper, which that would drive me up a wall because I'm like, did I miss any of them? And I'd be doing that all night. That's stressful for me.
Right.
This game isn't stressful. It's very fun. So Rise of Augustus, Gamers Bingo, whatever you want to call it.
It's a really good pick. Really good pick.
Agreed.
All right, my number 5 is a game from Istari Games called Mycarinos or Micarinos or something like that.
No, wait, it's about archaeology.
Macarinos.
Mycarinos. This game is about archaeology. You're an archaeologist digging up lots in, I guess, Egypt. And you are
No, you're not.
basically like you show up and stick a flag in the square and go, ha, ha, ha. And then somebody goes around you and sticks a flag in your way. And now you can't go past them. You can't dig that way. You'll mess up their flag. I mean, calm down. Another great thing is if you want to exhibit something you found in the museum, and I'm using the word found here very loosely, you can't go to the big room. In fact, you can't even go straight and rent the big room. You need to rent a little room and then sneak into the big room. That's just how it works because of theme. That's right. That whole the way the museum works, the way the plots of land work. There's a character who apparently lets you plow through pyramids. The theme is super thin in this game. It's an area control game. It's a very cool one. In fact, it's one of my favorite area control games just because it's so quick and neat. But the theme was clearly dug up, if you would, after the fact. Mycarinos, or Micarinos, or what Sam said, my number 3.
Yeah, Micarinos is a good game, like you said. The theme's not there. We talked earlier about Rainer Knizia and Stefan Feld having being the designers. Mm-hmm. Istari is a publisher, and I like a lot of their games, but they aren't big on theme at all.
Yeah.
Almost all their games, it's okay, there's a theme. We put a camel in the game, still no theme.
I'll say the one game they do have that I like quite a bit and is very thematic is Scylla. That's Sylla.
Okay, that one I haven't played.
I think that game is very thematic.
But Ispahan with the camels and a lot of their games they're good games. Well, some of them are, but they're just no theme. All right, my number 5 is a new game that just came out last year. I like it very much, but the theme is, and that's Royals. Mm-hmm. In Royals, you are trying to get area control. It's area control, top area control, and it's a great game. Really is good. If you haven't played it, try to find a copy. It's really fun. And you're trying to control area. You're playing cards to control the king or the duchess here, and you get points for controlling the most duchesses because that's just how life works. Or it doesn't. There's no theme there, really. You could take it out and do anything else, probably. You could wipe it away.
Swords to the king.
Yeah.
Bouquets.
But it's a great game, and I enjoy it very much, despite the fact that the theme is kind of just there. I mean, because why would it matter that you have the most dukes? I can get that maybe controlling England is an important thing and get you points.
Well, I mean, if you control the most high-ranking officials in an area, then you have the most...
No, I got that,
political
but
influence.
If you have the most dukes, period, why does that get you a pile of points?
They talk to each other. They call each other up. Hey, who you working for?
The Duke Network.
Duke Network. That sounds like an awful TV show.
Hail to the king, baby.
All right. Well, there's probably one at the university. But anyhow, my number 5, Royals.
Number 4.
All right. My number 4 is a game that we've talked about a lot with just having a very thinly veneered theme on there.
Twilight.
And that is Lords of Waterdeep. Lords of Waterdeep is a fun game. But the D&D theme that was slapped on there was, I think, very literally just slapped on there. The base game is what I'm really talking about, though. I think if you add the Scoundrels of Skullport to it, the theme is bolstered a little bit because there's a little bit more of a back and forth between corruption and all of that kind of stuff. So I think if you're going with Scoundrels of Skullport, you have a little bit more theme to work with. But quite frankly, this could be anything. where you're gathering different kinds of resources or workers to go do a certain thing. And while I think the theme works and I do enjoy the game, it could be anything. And I think people would agree with me on that.
Well, here's where I'm with that. I think that the theme in Lords of Waterdeep is thin, based on what they've given you. But if you get you could, it does make sense if you look. Oh, here I'm at the tavern. Oh, of course that's where I'm going to get fighters. This card here says go free the priests, and when you do that, you get some priests. But because they made everything cubes, and because they, I think you can. I don't know. I don't want to say that. They just threw the theme on. I don't think they did that, actually. I think they tried to put the theme in. I think it just doesn't come out of the components as much.
You don't think it could be?
No. I think you could move the theme. I really do. But I think the theme is still there by the cards and such.
Well, yeah, the theme is there, yeah. But you could change the artwork, change the names, and change the terminology, and it could work just as well with some other theme on there.
All right. Well, my number 4 would not. And my number 4 is a game come from Hobby World, which Mayday just did a Kickstarter for, and it will be coming out this year, and that is Viceroy. Viceroy is great. You are building a pyramid of guys and attaching cards together to make circles. And
sounds thematic already.
Yeah, I know.
Attaching cards in a pyramid shape. Egypt theme.
It has amazing artwork. I mean, really great. These guys look fantastic. And it means nothing over the course of the game. You're you need a full green circle. Why? And why are we even building a pyramid? I guess it's maybe organizational structure or support.
Support, yeah.
Okay, look, I love the game. Viceroy is really fantastic. But there's no theme at all. I mean, they put all these beautiful artwork and pictures and this thing and for no reason. So
I'm actually surprised that they didn't go with an Egyptian theme because it sort of suggests itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's we're building pyramids, folks. Except they'd be saying this in Russian. We're building pyramids, folks. How about an Egyptian theme? And then you could have the more important people end up at the top, something like that. I mean, I know that doesn't necessarily happen, but yeah, you're right. It's could be about anything. Love the game myself. All right, my number 4 is my one Reiner Knizia game on the list, and it's probably the one I've played the most. It's the one I've been able to bring out the most, and it's one of those that just the theme is sure, this is what we're doing. Lost Cities is the game, and you are going on expeditions.
yes!
You are exploring things as ridiculous as an underwater cave and an empty desert, and
looking for numbers.
Actually, the underwater one looks pretty cool.
it looks cool, but it's are you trained to dive? You're some Indiana Jones type cat, and he's going through a jungle and the desert, and then Atlantis. I mean, I'm not sure who this guy is. He's clearly well prepared.
He's the most interesting man in the world.
Yeah, it is. I don't always explore Atlantis, but when I do it numerically. He's just you play numbers that go up, and the farther in you go, I guess, the better you do. I don't know. It's kind of like Drive, in which it's just a card game with some numbers and quantities, and, well...
In the underwater one, the numbers should have to go down.
That would be really confusing.
It worked, though.
Anyway, my number 4, Lost Cities.
Number 3.
For my number 3, I am in complete agreement with Z. I like the game a lot. I know it's not on Sam's list because he doesn't like the game, but Lost Cities.
Yep.
As he just said. Lost Cities is great, and it seems so cool. And then they there's the board game. Yeah, it's still no theme. You're still just doing numbers the whole time. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I like the numbers, but a little bit more theme wouldn't have hurt, I think. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, you could have called that anything. No,
numbers
don't
have
say
to go
it.
down.
Shut up.
Numbers have to go
No, the numbers can go down in the board game.
They can,
Yes.
right, yeah.
Which is
For some mechanism.
dumb.
I'm assuming so it doesn't clutch
I like
up
the
or
board
something.
game a lot better than the...
It's for people who, I can play numbers either direction. Oh, that's easy, thank you. All right.
Guess.
But over here, we real gamers are playing Lost Cities.
Wow, we're playing from the 2 up.
That's right.
So how many people do you actually play this with? How many different people?
1. Yeah, well, no, actually,
Beginning to see.
I played Lost Cities. That Origins thing I got around here is because of Lost Cities, man.
Oh.
Remember that? I've won.
You know what? I actually wanted to put this on my list,
But you don't like Lost Cities.
I could not because I don't like Lost Cities.
All right. So anyhow, my number 3, Lost Cities.
Is it me?
It is.
All right, my number 3 is a game in which you are building cathedrals. It's a 2-player game. You are building cathedrals. You are attempting to take control, do more building. The game's called Basilica. It's a game put out by a Rebel, PL, I think the company's called. Polish company. And it's this weird like grid where you put out tiles and then put a token and control them. And as you score sections, the board where the tiles sit will actually like eat a row of what you've been controlling, like this cathedral you've been building. The game would have been great with like a Pac-Man theme or something, because the rows literally vanish after you score. Like, you know, eventually once you've scored enough, there's a track that goes around. Once it hits the end, you score, and then it eats a row, and then you start again. I really like the game. I think it's a brilliant 2-player game, but the theme could be anything. It's really basically an abstract game you can play with like colors, and they said it was about stained glass windows and cathedrals, and yeah, it's not about anything. Again, an area control game, one that works extremely well with 2. In fact, it's only 4-2, and those are rare. Basilica, I really like. My number 3.
All right, my number 3 is a game that I really, really do enjoy playing, and at present it has 2 different themes applied to it. It has a superheroes theme applied to it, and it also has an alien theme applied to it. So this is,
Are you kidding
quite
me?
frankly,
Aw.
legendary. It is a pasted-on theme. The mere fact that they have 2 different themes tells you that it's nothing but a pasted-on theme.
Oh, you're gonna get hate for that one, especially on the Aliens one.
I don't
People say the
care.
Aliens one is like thematically perfect.
I understand that, but understand that it's the same game with 2 different themes.
No, it's the same game system. They are different games.
Oh, you're stretching there.
No, there's a couple of differences.
And there's some
there
pretty-
are rules, nuances. That is all.
I think they're pretty major differences. The aliens are popping out and they're coming.
Face down, they come
They're
out
popping
face
out,
down.
and okay, all right. That's one nuance.
There's that cooperation bit where you can assist other people. There's a card that's called Cooperate or Assist or whatever it's called, and you can play it on someone else's turn if they need a little boost.
Okay, well, all right.
There's chest bursters in it. There's
Again, these are all nuances.
Come on, man.
all
They're
right.
nuances. I mean, come on. I like the game. I'm not down in the game. I'm just saying, when you can apply, this is like Big Boy Love Letter. You can apply whatever theme to this game that you want, and it's a really good game. It's a really good system. But you can put whatever theme on it you want, and it'll work.
I'm not so sure on that because a game can have a very strong theme and you can force other themes. Like the idea of Love Letter, the theme made. It's not a great theme, but it's a sense of like who had the best love letter, right? So then they shoehorn in these other themes. It doesn't make the original theme less valid.
But again, with Legendary, we're talking about 2 themes, not
Well, see,
one.
if you had just said Marvel, I would have humped and harumped over here, and
No,
but
I'm
at the
saying
same time,
Legendary. I'm saying Legendary.
no, that's what I'm saying. If you had just said Marvel, I could have seen your point, even though I would have been like, but Aliens, no way, man. That game is, even though I like the Marvel one better, that I feel like Aliens is like really well themed, really well themed.
But
They
you
took
can
a system.
change the theme. That's what we're talking about.
No, but you can take a system. You can take a system and do things. They did that with the D20 system.
Popcorn out. Go ahead, fellas.
I feel.
So maybe it's
I
from
feel
number to
like the
number,
comments
you guys.
will agree with me. I feel
Number
like
to
this.
number.
We'll see. All right.
Well, it doesn't- just because you're in the majority doesn't make you right.
No, but this time I am the majority.
The majority of people like McDonald's, right? You say that all the time.
Yeah. You're still wrong.
All right, anyway,
No.
my number 2, Taco Bell.
Number 2.
All right, my number 2 is a game from Dominic Earhart who has designed games such as Condottiere and other pretty thinly veiled kind of games. That one's not my game, though. My game is Lascaux, a game in which you are collecting French paintings.
I considered this one.
You're collecting like cave drawings from the Lascaux. I think it's called the caverns are called that. And if you have the most at the end of the game, then you score them. And I'm not sure if we're like vandals. Are we like stealing the piece from the cave? Or are we collecting snapshots of it? I'm not sure what's going on. Are we the cavemen? Drawing them? What? This game, I'm not...
But it made you think.
It did. This is the one that's made me think the most on this list. Lascaux, really cool little set collection game. It's kind of like No Thanks with the reverse bidding. But, man, that theme, no thanks.
Yeah.
I'm so clever.
But I looked at Lascaux, and I thought about that too. I like the idea of it, but yeah, the theme is, it's weird.
In fact, it was rethemed to an Australian theme or something like that.
All right.
All right, my number 2. Now, my number 2, I was actually expecting the Sacred Cow reaction from one of these two guys. I got it on number 3, so maybe I'm going to get it on this one too.
Only from Tom, though.
But quite frankly, whenever I play this game, I'm always just looking at the symbols and the names of the cards. I'm never really ever paying attention to the artwork or what my actual theme is or anything like that, and that is Seven Wonders. This is just one of those games where I'm always looking at only the symbols and I'm only looking at the names of the cards so that I am comboing the correct cards together and I am looking for the right scientific symbols to put together to score my bucket load of points at the end of the game. The theme could be whatever you want it to be. It's a good game. I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, but it's symbols and words at this point. That's my number 2, 7 Wonders.
No, that's not too much of a stretch, though honestly it would have to be something with enough breadth that it can accommodate that many symbols.
Yeah.
It has to be something...
And again, I am sticking with base game because that's the one I've played the most.
Yeah.
I have played Babel, which, again... You're building
the
thing
tile out there, but whatever it does really makes no sense.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not arguing with you on this one.
Really?
I think there's a little bit of theme, but I wouldn't argue to the death on it. I look at the symbols too.
Yeah, well, you have to.
I like the theme a lot, and I honestly do think it helps the game out, but it could have been.
Here's where I think that the theme comes to me in that game a little bit from the different civilizations. When I'm building the wonder, that gives it a little bit.
But even
different.
that just breaks down to how easy or not easy it is.
Well, that's fine enough.
I mean, it doesn't
the
really...
combination of symbols, like this one takes 2 wood and a brick, doesn't mean anything. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I can't argue with you at all because my number 2 is very similar, and I know every time I say this game has no theme, people are always like, no, it's really thematic if you think about it. It's not, okay? And that's Dominion.
No, it's really thematic if you think about it.
No, I agree completely with you.
Look, I love Dominion. I really enjoy it. But when I play a village and it gives me an extra, it's extra 2 actions and 1 card or whatever.
Why?
Yeah, why?
There's no reason why.
Why does the market? There's occasional cards in it. People are like, well, the witch gives you a curse. Okay, fine. And the pirate lets you, the pirate ship, you can do things. There's a few cards in the mix, a very few over the whole 200 different cards that are slightly thematic. But nobody that I've ever played the game with is like, and now I'm moving my thief. No, it's like, this is how people play Dominion. Your turn.
Yeah.
That is how people play. And I like Dominion. I'm not saying it's a bad game at all, but it is not thematic.
No,
and I almost feel like they worked hard to make it not thematic. Hey, can you draw a boring picture? You can? Would you like a job?
You're hired.
Oh, no, that's too good. Too good. Sorry.
I'm pretty sure what they do is they show the artists pictures of like the drawings everybody else did so far, and they go, "Can you draw something completely different from these? Something that really is." I mean, I don't want it to mesh at all.
And really, if it were not as good,
Yeah, it's like it made sure that they were all like completely different, and that art, like, oh, this card and this one, I don't want them together in my hand. You're right, zero theme in that one.
Now, again, the horse isn't dead, but I hate to kick it. What you just said about this, there's one card here, and there's a couple of things over here, and there's one card over here that are slightly thematic, and that sounds exactly like what you were arguing against me for on Legendary Aliens, Alien Encounter. That sounds exactly the same.
Oh, wait, man. When I'm like edgy aliens, I'm like, oh, I'm going to turn this card over. I hope it's...
Again, that's up here, man. That's not the mechanism.
No, the game provides you that outlet. I'm saying Dominion, it never happens. And they're like,
I think you're just a Sally Weathers fans about horror movies, and that's why more you're like, ooh, it's aliens. But it's really the same thing with Marvel. You're beating this big Titanic super villain.
Well, again, I'm arguing. Look, I feel there's a theme in Marvel Legendary, but I won't argue that much of that theme comes from me making it there. Okay, that's fine. Mm-hmm. And if you were to stick with Marvel Legendary, I have your back. It's just not that I wouldn't have it that much, but I mean, I could see your point. But the Aliens one, I'm telling you, that theme is really there. You're doing very specific things up there based on the movie you pick. It's not like Dominion at all.
But see, it's the no. I'm not saying that it's like Dominion. I'm saying your argument for why Dominion is themeless sounds very similar to what you were saying why Alien Encounters is thematic.
But what I'm saying is when people play Dominion, maybe not at first, but when people know what they're doing, they go, and Legendary, everyone's like, okay, what are we going to do here? And once you get to that, I think there's theme.
So Spectre Ops has theme.
Yeah, I think so.
Ooh.
Oh, is that your number one?
No, it's not my number one, but still.
All right.
Well, let's find out what the number ones are.
Good.
And finally, number 1.
All right, here we go. I roll.
It's really
Picks.
That's not going to hurt people's eyes.
That's gonna be the other
yeah,
sound
sorry.
I have to edit.
Sorry. Here we go.
On
Not
7.
doing any good.
Oh, that was. I'm gonna
5.
And I got
7.
7. I just kill it with them 7s.
Okay, you got 1 7. That's not even.
I just
Whatever.
got it, but I fumbled one, so I
10.
rerolled
All
it.
right, what's the order?
Cheated!
What's the order?
I'm gonna go. I'll go first, and Sam's been getting so much hate. I'll let him go last.
Oh wow, Jesus!
So you can, you put the bow on the whole thing, Sam.
All right.
All right, my number 1 is a game in which you are taking old documents and you are basically writing them over to save them for posterity. You are collecting ancient tomes and yes, biblios.
I said it sounds really fun.
I'm really I'm struggling over here to keep that charade going, but it's biblios, which is about that, but really it's about I'll keep this card because it's a 4. Ooh, I'm gonna put this card in this deck so I can auction it later. Why? And then the others I'll flip over and people draft those, and then you do that, and then once we've all done that, then we auction off the ones that we put aside. You got the most of a kind? Guess what? You get some points. That's the game. I make it sound really boring, and I don't intend to. I'm sort of hurting my pitch there for the sake of making fun of the theme, but the game is absolutely one of my favorite fillers. It's a brilliant filler. It's the one that once I played it, there were a lot of these sort of fall back on fillers like the No Thanks and all these games that, while I still like, felt a little less shiny to me when I played Biblios. But man, that theme, what? And not just is it like a pasted on theme, it's again a boring theme like Guildhall. Why would I want to be some dusty man in some dusty room writing over some dusty book, just so I have another copy of it? That is it doesn't make for good artwork. It doesn't make for any sort of immersion. You can't even do a funny accent to that. You know what I mean? You can't even do funny voices. Oh, my hand hurts. I mean, really? So, really thin, but I love the game. My number 1, Biblios.
My number one, once again, Reiner Knizia shows his head, and that is Through the Desert. Through the Desert, very, very fun game. I enjoy connecting camels around and to oases and making a string of camels and having the longest and going to different spots and getting points. And the theme is nothing. Now, Reiner Knizia has written articles on many of his games where he then tries to show you why they do indeed have theme, and that's just craziness because it's just basically waste of time because we know they have no theme. I think his original theme for it was something, and the publisher changed it to this. So. Right, and it works so much better. Whatever. I mean, Through the Desert might get some argument from people on this list because they'll say, that's not a themeless game, that's just a straight-up abstract game. And I would, I know, but I would see that point, right? Because it really is like a multiplayer abstract game. That's why it's number one on my list. I love the game a lot, but I'm never like, ooh, Through the Desert, no, here comes Lawrence of Arabia. No. I got a 2-point tile. You know what that means? It means I got a 2-point tile. Mm-hmm. My number one, Through the Desert.
My number one is one of my favorite games, actually. But the theme that is on it is very, very, very close to slipping off with even the slightest gust of wind, and that is Kingsburg. Kingsburg is a worker placement game, and you are sending your dice to affect the different people that are in the king and queen's courts in order to get certain favors from them so that you can then use those favors or resources to build up your village defenses for the horde onslaught that's going to happen at the end of the year during the winter. And that's a cool theme. But again, it could be anything because the mechanics that you're doing, that just doesn't seem like... I mean, some of the people that you send your dice to just don't make sense either.
But what are the dice supposed to even represent in that game?
That's the thing. That's another thing I was going to get to.
Is it your influence?
I'm assuming they're workers. They're representatives from your village that are going to...
They're cubicle-shaped boxes of gifts that you are giving. Inside, there's fried chicken in some of them, and others it's chocolate. And when you give them, when I put 2, like a 6 is chocolate.
Okay.
So when I give that to the queen, she needs a certain... Okay. Yes.
I love how you have to give gifts.
Long walk, short beard.
Yeah. Well, it's funny how you give gifts then to people like the thief.
Yeah.
Wouldn't he just take them? I mean,
exactly.
Well, no. He has honor.
There's honor.
Thank you, sir.
I can't even talk to you. No.
But, I mean...
I got your back, except...
Kingsport has been put out now, which is...
Kingsport Festival.
Yeah, Kingsport Festival, which is kind of like the same game with Cthulhu theme.
But there's a little bit of theme in the buildings and how they interact. Like when you build the statue, it just gives you points. I that kind of makes a little sense. I'm not saying that's a bad choice. I think your choice is fine.
No,
I can see little bits, like when the orcs attack.
It's just not enough. It's like those are the tendrils that they're hooked onto, and that's it. There's no coverage. There's no coverage there. Yeah. So it's got a cool theme, and the theme helps it, I guess. But you could put whatever you want on there, whatever your favorite theme is, and it would still probably work well. But my number one themeless or paste it on theme game is Kingsburg.
Well, tell us what your favorites are in the comments below. Tell us games that you really enjoy, but the theme doesn't, might as well not even be there. Tell us if we're right. Tell us if we're wrong. You always do anyway.
Yep.
But we appreciate you guys watching so much. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Zee Garcia. Have a good one.
And I'm Sam Healey. See you on the flip side, folks.
Yeah.